Part 102. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1013. 1011. Hey, what a ignorant person. Coach Xia frowned and said, Jiaolihong, you are talented, you are young, and you have relatively strong capital. But He Tian is also good. He even surpassed you in breaststroke and freestyle. This is also what I have counted. If you want to achieve good results, you have to work hard. Haha, coach, I will do my best. Jiaolihong smiled. That old woman must have eaten something to have such great potential. Jiaolihong, Coach Xia saw that Jiaolihong was talking more and more outrageously. These are not your concerns. Our team doctor has done a comprehensive examination on He Tian and there is no problem. We are well aware of the things you did before. Ming. If you want to exclude dissidents this time, I can't protect you, and neither can your uncle. When Jiaolihong heard what Coach Xia said, she was not angry at all. She smiled and said, Coach Xia, I didn't do those things. You can't accuse me wrongly. Besides, what if He Tian is good looking? With such a big background behind her, who would want to be an athlete? She should have been a wife at home. Jiaolihong saw that He Tian was being protected. She looked like she had some background, but she was definitely not a serious daughter-in-law from a wealthy family. Otherwise, who would show up and train hard to get a ranking? Jiaolihong's original intention is different from He Tian's. She always likes to use her own thoughts to guess other people's thoughts. Coach Xia smiled half-heartedly and said, Jiaolihong, this time I will remind you in advance. He Tian has a profound background. If you persist in persisting and something happens, don't blame me for not reminding you. Jiaolihong smiled, not caring, and said, okay, I understand, Coach Xia. If nothing happens, I'll go out first and have some rest. I'm exhausted from taking the train. Our team is really poor and we only buy hard seats. I won't buy a soft sleeper. He has already said what needs to be said, but Jiaolihong probably won't listen. If it hadn't been for the things involved before, Coach Xia would have hoped that He Tian could take care of Jiaolihong. However, if something happens to Jiaolihong or He Tian, he won't benefit at all. For now, the best way is to call Director Jiao and ask him to talk to Jiaolihong. As long as Jiaolihong stays safe, nothing will happen in this competition. This was the best outcome he could think of. Then you go back. Coach Xia nodded. Jiaolihong turned around and left. That rude look made Coach Xia so angry that he couldn't calm down for a long time. Coach Xia looked for a long-distance call in the hotel. It was now 8 o'clock in the evening, so Director Jiao should go home. Long-distance calls are expensive, but you have to make them. Hello, Director Jiao, I am Xia Wenho, Jiaolihong's coach. Coach Xia said, I'm very sorry to disturb you at such a late hour. Oh, it turns out to be Xioxia. Director Jiao said, by the way, didn't you lead the team to Nanxi for a competition? Why did you call me? Xiao Xia. Niangzipai, I'm older than you. If you, surnamed Xiao, don't call me Coach Xia, you can at least call me Lao Xia. Haha, when I think of Jiaolihong's unreasonable behavior, it turns out that it's not without reason, it's heredity. However, he was left alone, and Coach Xia could only curse a few words in his heart. Director Jiao, there is a new player in our team who has achieved good results. He was personally selected by Coach Wu. You also know Jiaolihong's temperament. She is very competitive. I am making this call just to remind you. Jiaolihong, I hope she can calm down and play well and stop thinking wildly. Coach Xia said very directly, they all know Jiaolihong's temper, and there is no need for him to hide it. Director Jiao was stunned. If the newcomer was an ordinary athlete, this guy named Xia wouldn't bother to call him. It must be that the newcomer's background is quite profound, so that he is in a dilemma, so he insists on it. Scalp called him. Who is that person? Director Jiao asked. I don't know the specific background, but the athlete's name is He Tian Tian. He comes to train every day with 2 bodyguards and masseurs following him. If it is an ordinary person, how can he have such style? I reminded Jiao Lihong, but she didn't listen. That's why I made this call to avoid complications, Coach Xia said, hoping that Director Jiao on the other side of the phone would understand and not be as ignorant as Jiao Lihong. There are dedicated bodyguards and masseurs, and they are not ordinary people. Anyway, he didn't have the ability to set up such a team for his niece, so he could only share the team doctor and masseur with everyone. It's really not easy to mess with, so I'd better ask my niece to restrain herself. After hearing this, Director Jiao thought for a while and said, well, you go and call Lihong over, and I'll talk to her. Seeing what Director Jiao said, Coach Xia felt annoyed, but at least the matter could be solved. Okay, I'll hang up first, and I'll call Jiao Lihong right now. Coach Xia finished. I'll call you back in a few minutes. Please wait a moment. Yeah, Director Jiao agreed. Coach Xia hung up the phone and went to call Jiao Lihong in person. As soon as Jiao Lihong heard that her uncle called her, she quickly came down to pick it up. She can ignore Coach Xia, but she can't disrespect her uncle. She was able to get the best resources in the sports team and live so comfortably because of her uncle. She did not dare to neglect him. Director Xia called again and was quickly picked up. Uncle, I'm Lihong, call me, are you okay? Jiao Lihong said respectfully, worried that something might happen at home or she might do something to make her uncle angry. Director Jiao heard his niece's voice over there and smiled. Lihong, I'm calling you. On the one hand, I want to wish you good results and successfully enter the national team. On the other hand, I want to remind you that the most important thing is to have real talent and practice, and compete with all your heart. Don't mess around and waste all your previous efforts. Uncle, Jiao Lihong frowned, did Coach Xia say something bad about me? Coach Xia really wanted to curse when he was there. I'm not doing this just to stop you, a cruel bitch, from doing evil. There's no charge for the phone call. Why don't you make a long story short? Neither of these uncles and nephews is good. Lihong, that's your coach, you have to show respect. Director Jiao said, the new athletes must have backgrounds. Be honest with me. If something happens again, I won't give you any clean up the mess. Although Director Jiao didn't find out the details about He Tian Tian, he could guess it based on experience. That bitch Xia Wenho bullies the weak and is afraid of the strong. If you can make this call to him, it is probably not the person Xia Wenho can offend, and it is not the person he can offend. Furthermore, He Tian Tian has 2 bodyguards, which further reveals the background. Recommend Tianqing Dibai's double happiness. Ho Shuangzi was targeted by a pervert. This pervert was reborn and took possession of Ho Shuangzi with the resentment of his previous life. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 1014. 1012. When she heard her uncle getting angry over there, Jiao Lihong was stunned and felt a little scared, but luckily she didn't do anything. If her uncle didn't make this call, maybe she would take action tomorrow night. If something goes wrong and my uncle can't handle it, wouldn't it cause a big problem? Uncle, I understand, don't be angry. I will definitely play well, without any thoughts, and strive to enter the national team with excellent results. Seeing what his niece said, Director Jiao sounded better and said, well, that's good if you think so. If you offend others randomly, I can't help you. Besides, Coach Xia also said that your grades are very good. As long as you play well, you should be able to achieve good results and enter the national team. Don't worry, I will let people allocate more resources to you. Thank you for your encouragement, Uncle. I understand, Jiao Lihong said with a smile. Uncle, please pay attention to your health. I will compete well and give you the good news when the time comes. Well, try your best. After Director Jiao said that, he hung up the phone. He has made it so obvious that if his niece is still stubborn, no matter how talented she is, he will not train her. After all, using unfair means to compete is like carrying a time bomb that might explode at some point. Jiao Lihong hung up the phone, turned to look at Coach Xia who was paying, and said with a smile, "Thank you, Coach Xia, for reminding me." Even her uncle said this, which showed that He Tian was something she couldn't afford to offend. Director Jiao secretly scolded Xia Wenho for being a bully, but in fact, Director Jiao and his niece were not such people either. If you can bully, bully. If you can't bully, just keep your tail between your legs and be honest. Haha, it's all for the sake of achieving good results in the competition, Coach Xia said with a smile. Everything that needed to be said was said, and he was able to sleep peacefully. Jiao Lihong didn't care about Coach Xia's attitude and said with a smile, "Well, good results, Coach Xia, I'm going back to the room first. After that, just walk away." Coach Xia didn't want to look at Jiao Lihong's proud and arrogant face. The next day, Wei Yuan and Kui Ying were vigilant to protect He Tian. Jiao Lihong was honest and did not talk and laugh like usual, but was preparing seriously for the competition. The other team members thought there was something good to watch, but they didn't. During the evening break, Cai Fenfang came over and whispered, "Lihong, I personally went to see He Tian's training status today. It was very good. I think I can achieve good results this time." "Well, it's very good," Jiao Lihong smiled. "You have to work hard, and then we will join the national team together." "I will work hard," Cai Fenfang said with a smile. She practices butterfly swimming and has no competition with Jiao Lihong, so she usually has a good relationship. "Then let's not teach him a lesson." Jiao Lihong shook her head and said, "This is a national competition. It affects whether we can be selected for the national team. You can't mess around. If you mess around, I won't support you. If something goes wrong, you have to bear it yourself." Can Jiao Lihong say such a thing, but she won't do anything, and even remind her not to do anything? What's going on here? Is it different from what you said before? As long as Jiao Lihong is not asked to do those things, Cai Fenfang can play with peace of mind. She had been worried before. It's okay now, no need to worry anymore. Hearing this, Cai Fenfang was stunned, nodded, and said, "You are right, I remember it, play well." While getting help from Jiao Lihong, Cai Fenfang also wanted to follow Jiao Lihong's lead in everything, which is why she said that just now. What's the origin of He Tian? He can actually make Jiao Lihong retreat and not dare to do anything? With such questions, Cai Fenfang has been paying attention to He Tian and Jiao Lihong. However, she also knows that the more important thing is the results of the competition. By the way, after Director Jiao hung up the phone, he kept feeling uneasy and didn't sleep well at night. He kept thinking about what kind of background He Tian would have. Early the next morning, after Director Jiao came to the unit, he went directly to the national team's head coach Wu, but the people below said that head coach Wu went to Nanji to select a few good prospects. Director Jiao could only ask someone to bring He Tian's information. It had the address on it, but nothing else. Director Jiao called his secretary and asked him to check the details of He Tian. The secretary is also very capable and will come over to report in the afternoon. Director, then He Tian has a lot of background, Secretary Xiao Wang said. Because he was walking in a hurry, he was a little out of breath. Director Jiao was stunned and said, "What's the origin?" Then He Tian's husband is Huo Yingjia, the chief engineer of the Military Special Materials Research Institute. He was born in the Huo family, the founder of the family. Huo Yingjia's uncle is a minister. Huo Yingjia's father is a high-ranking official in Jiangsu province. Besides, He Tian Tian herself. I used to be a university teacher, and my grandmother had a huge business abroad, Xiao Wang said without thinking, looking a little excited. Director Jiao was simply stunned. Oh my god, this background is so big, it's so big that it has no edges. Fortunately, fortunately. Fortunately, Xiao Wenho reminded him. Fortunately he had warned his niece. Otherwise. Director Jiao felt scared just thinking about it. Seeing that Secretary Xiao Wang was still there, he continued to ask, Xiao Wang, how did you find out so much information in such a short period of time? Is it reliable? Reliable, of course reliable, Xiaowen said. My aunt and uncle are working at He Tianation's house. The two of them get a salary of 1,000 yuan a month. After I got this address, I thought my aunt worked nearby, but I didn't know it was at He Tianation's home, so I went to ask first, and my aunt said it was her employer. With this kind of relationship, it is impossible for Secretary Xiao Wang to make a mistake. Oh, that must be true. Director Jiao nodded, took out a cigarette, smoked it a few times, and calmed down. Xiao Wang, since He Tian Tian is so good, then if you make it to the national team, you pay more attention to me and report anything to me in time. Yes, Director. Secretary Wang smiled, then turned around and went out. Secretary Xiao Wang never expected that such a thing would happen. Oops, I don't understand, she's already a young lady, why are she still working so hard? Not only Jiao Lihong thinks so, but anyone who doesn't know He Tian Tian will think so. Everything in the outside world did not interfere with He Tian Tian. She was preparing for the upcoming competition. Although Huo Yingji couldn't come, the children could come, so while she was enjoying herself, she also worked hard to get better results. Let's say that Huo Yingji took a group of people directly to the government compound where his parents were. Zhang Lifang was also surprised because she didn't get a call in advance and thought that only her daughter-in-law came to the competition and no one else came. Unexpectedly, the whole family was mobilized. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1015. 1013. The children were happy to see their grandmother. Grandma, Grandma, I miss you. When Huo Ruimin saw her grandmother, she started acting coquettishly towards her. Huo Ruwa has talked little since he was a child. Watching his sister acting coquettishly, he said, Grandma, I miss you too. Good children, they are all good children. Zhang Lifang was very happy and touched the heads of her grandchildren. Seeing that his brother and sister were like this, Huo Xiaosan squeezed the two of them away, hugged Zhang Lifang's thigh directly, and said, Grandma, Xiaosan misses you the most. Zhang Lifang took Huo Xiaosan's hand and said, Grandma also misses Xiaosan. Come on, you are all coming in. By the way, you are here. Why didn't you tell me in advance? Haha, I suggested it, saying it was a surprise for Mom. Huo Ruimin said, let's watch Mom play together backstage. Grandma, do you have time? Let's go together. Yes, not only do I have time, your grandfather will also go. But he is a big leader and has to give a speech or something. He won't sit with us. Zhang Lifang smiled and said, Grandma will take you to watch the game together. Okay, okay, several children cheered. Seeing that Grandma Wang was a little tired, Zhang Lifang said, Aunt Wang, I'll send you up to rest first. I'll make a meal later and then invite everyone to eat together. Okay. Grandma Wang nodded, I'm too old to be able to do it anymore. I guess this is my last long trip together, and I won't be able to travel far again in the future. Now that you're here, stay a while longer and I'll give you a good checkup. Zhang Lifang said, Aunt Wang, you have to be good and see Ruwa and Ruimin get married and have children. Okay, I will fight for it. Grandma Wang said with a smile. Now that life is good, she also wants to live a few more years. When Huo Jekan came home, he saw the bustling house and felt very happy. The living room was left to Aunt Wang and the children, and Huo Jekan called Huo Yingja to the study. Yingja, Tian Tian has so many talents. I really didn't expect that she has a talent for swimming, Huo Jekan said. He had been talking on the phone before, and he didn't believe it. Today, he personally asked someone to check on He Tianation's training, and was surprised when he got Secretary Guo's affirmative answer. This daughter-in-law is so awesome. It can do what ordinary people cannot. Haha, I didn't know it at first. Tian Tian likes swimming, so I built a swimming pool at home. I found that she was very fast, so I took her to the swimming pool to try it out. Unexpectedly, she really reached the level of competition. Huo Yingja smiled and said, plus the child is older and Tian Tian has more free time at home, so it's quite boring. Since she likes it, I let her do it. Huo Jekan nodded and said, yes, being bored at home is indeed not a good thing. I still remember when your father gave birth to you, he was on maternity leave. Oh my God, those few months were the darkest in my life. Something is wrong with your mother. If you have nothing to do, you can quarrel with me. You can't argue with her when she gets pregnant. It will be better when you go to work. Women won't trouble your man. Although Huo Jekan's words were somewhat incorrect, they also pointed out that people should not be too idle. Haha, Huo Yingja smiled, Dad, you are right. I also realize this, so I support her. Before and after we got married, Tian Tian was busy with my little family. Now, I have a job and my kids are in school, so I support her in doing what she loves. Our family is not lacking in anything. We can do whatever we like, Huo Jekan said. Besides, sports competition requires a lot of effort and perseverance. If Tian Tian can persevere, she will be able to make one for her children in the future good role model. Well, yes, I think so too, Huo Yingja smiled. By the way, Dad, how are you doing lately? Huo Jekan smiled and said, the companies that previously attracted investment and settled in Nanxi and Jiangsu province have now passed the tax preferential period. The spring tax has been collected, which is almost half of the previous year's income. There are 3 more to come. Quarterly, by the end of the year, our financial revenue will be 2 or 3 times that of last year. After years of investment, we finally see the money coming back. After hearing this, Huo Yingja was also happy for his father and said, haha, Dad, this is your political achievement. It has increased a lot this year, and there will be more next year and the year after that. Yes, now there are not only foreign capital, joint ventures, but also local private enterprises. At the same time, state-owned enterprises have been restructured and are now participating in market competition. Now profits have also been greatly increased. Several major situations have been concentrated and progressed hand in hand. The economy has developed rapidly and we have achieved the goal of the first stage. Huo Jekan was a little excited. These political achievements are real and cannot be taken away by anyone. Huo Yingja thought for a while and said, by the way, I will give priority to licensing my patents to companies in Jiangsu province. Those are things that can improve people's lives. Okay, I will pay attention, Huo Jekan said. There are several state-owned enterprises with relatively advanced technology that can make it. Plus there are no patent fees, making it even more competitive. Well, you can tell me if you need anything, Huo Yingja said. He had always spared no effort in treating his father. Huo Jekan smiled and said, awesome, good son. How is your work? Because it was not a system, Huo Jekanbi didn't know Huo Yingja's specific situation. He only knew from the fact that the chief would praise Huo Yingja every time he met him that his son was very powerful and outstanding. Those are all related to the military industry. I can't say anything, Huo Yingja smiled, but you are my father, and I can proudly say to you that there is no material that your son cannot produce. For example, some of the materials on long-range radar that he recently received have already been revealed, and they can be put into experiments after he returns. As long as this material comes out, they can use these special materials to build a range radar with a radiation radius of more than 1,000 kilometers. Haha, I believe this. Huo Jekin smiled. Anyway, people I know who have some relationship with the military will praise you in front of me. Although your work is only known to a few people, it has made a huge contribution. Contribution can't be mentioned, I'm just trying my best, Huo Yingji said with a smile. Father, it's you must pay attention to something. According to the current progress, your career can go further. No matter what, I will do my best. My own father who went out to support me. Huo Jekin was very happy to get his son's support. The father and son talked until late at night. Zhang Lifang came over to urge them, and the father and son went back to their rooms. It's a rare visit for your son, so you can't let him have a good rest first, Zhang Lifang muttered. The bigger the official, the more things he has to do. Huo Jekin was in a good mood and said, it's just because my son rarely comes here that I have to have a good chat with my son. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 1016. 1014. Zhang Lifang, who had a bad temper, was unhappy and disobedient, but she also learned to refute. You are the only one who has many reasons, Zhang Lifang said. Okay, take a rest quickly. You are already old, not young anymore, and you still stay up late like others. Haha, Huo Jekin smiled. I'm getting older, and it's hard not to accept old age. Now I sleep less than before. It's good to go to bed late, so as not to go to bed early and wake up at night and make it even harder to sleep. I don't care, I'm very sleepy anyway, I'm going to sleep. Zhang Lifang lay down on her side. As long as the old man was not in the study, she didn't care. After a while, Huo Jekin heard Zhang Lifang's slight snoring and couldn't help but smile. Haha, I really think too much and can't sleep well. My wife is usually very busy at work, but when she comes home, she feels a little tired. She usually works hard and diligently, without so many twists and turns, so she has fewer worries and sleeps well. Huo Jekin kissed his wife on the ear, turned off the light and went to sleep. Huo Jekin is as busy as ever, especially the recent national swimming championships held in Nanjing. This is also a kind of political achievement, which he attaches great importance to. Zhang Lifang has now reached retirement age, so she only works 3 days a week. In order to go to the game, Zhang Lifang went to work today, but did not have to go to work during the game tomorrow. Grandma Wang was resting at home, while Huo Yingji took her 3 children out for a walk and ate the most authentic duck blood vermicelli soup and salted duck, a southern-style roast duck. The father and son were having so much fun that they had long forgotten about He Tiantian, who was preparing for the competition. Maybe it's because He Tianation's mentality is relatively relaxed. She was in very good condition all day long. When she was resting at night, she took out a foreign translated novel from her bag and read it carefully. Sister He, what kind of book are you reading? Sci-fi asked. She has been learning swimming since she was a child, and her cultural classes are not good, so she doesn't like to read them. There is a foreign novel, Gone with the Wind. He Tiantian smiled and said, I thought it was quite interesting, so I took it over and took a look. By the way, what were you talking about when we gathered around outside just now? Faced with Sci-fi's enthusiasm, He Tiantian had no choice but to remain indifferent, so as not to make Sci-fi, who had a strong self-esteem, think too much. We are discussing the order of tomorrow's competition, Sci-fi said. You and I are not in the same group in the preliminary round. Fortunately, otherwise I would be really worried about my results. Haha, you are very good, He Tiantian replied pertinently, work hard. Well, you should work hard. CFE I said, thinking of a doubt in her heart. She couldn't help but ask, Sister He, in fact, judging from your clothes and behavior, there is no need to practice swimming so hard. Haha, He Tian smiled, just because I like it? Is it just because you like it? CFE I asked, not because of the honor or the medal. Honors and medals are what every athlete dreams of. You also said, I don't need it anymore. If it wasn't because I liked it, why would I be willing to come over and train so hard for the competition? He Tian asked, and there was no need for her to lie to CFE I's question. That's right, CFE I said with a smile. Sister He, you are so happy. You do it for the things you like. Unlike me, you do it to get medals and honors so that you can be assigned a better job in the future. CFE I said it directly, nodded and said, that's good too. You are working hard for your future. Sister He, sometimes I feel confused. I come from an ordinary family in Yanjing, and I am not good at reading. Fortunately, I still have some talents, which give me one more path than others. CFE I said, I grew up slowly. I have gradually come to understand that people cannot choose their origin, but they can choose to work hard to give themselves more choices. You are a transparent girl. He Tian smiled, with your hard work, you can achieve your goals. Thank you, Sister He. CFE I said, when I have free time, I also want to read more books. I can't be uneducated. Well, reading more books is always good. He Tian smiled, I have another book in my bag, do you want to read it? What book? He Tian took it out from the bag and said, this is a martial arts novel, but it is in traditional Chinese characters, but if you know the simplified characters, you can also recognize the traditional characters. Oh, okay, let me take a look. CFE I nodded and took the book. It was a bit difficult to watch at first, but the more I watched, the more interesting it became. At 9 o'clock, He Tian went to wash up, change clothes, and get ready for bed. Aren't you going to sleep? He Tian looked at CFE I, who was still reading, and reminded, after all, there is still a competition tomorrow, and not getting enough rest will affect tomorrow's results. Sister He, let me read for a while. CFE I said, this book is interesting. I like to read it. The heroes in it are heroic and righteous, and the women in it are also happy to take revenge. Seeing this, He Tian stepped forward and snatched the martial arts novel from CFE I's hand, saying, there is a competition tomorrow, so you have to have a good rest. If I had known you liked reading it so much, I wouldn't have read it to you. At least I have to wait. I'll give it to you after the game. When CFE I heard this, she also remembered that there was a game tomorrow, nodded and said, Sister He, you put the book there now. When the game is over tomorrow, I will read it again. After 9 o'clock, I will have a good rest. After CFE I washed up, the two of them took a rest and prepared for tomorrow's game. Early the next morning, He Tian and CFE I were ready to start the game. Huo Yingjia found out the equipment used by He Tian from the previous competition in Yanjing, and tied red martial arts belts on the heads of the three children, with the words must win, champion embroidered on them. Trumpet, clapping, etc., everything is available. Zhang Lifang and Grandma Wang also went along, and Secretary Guo got tickets with better seats in advance. Huo Yingjia and his party went to the stadium in a mighty manner. As an all-around secretary, Secretary Guo naturally found out all the games played by He Tian, so that Huo Yingjia could take his children to watch the games. Nan City in Jiangsu province hosted this swimming competition. The mayor of Nan City gave a speech, followed by senior officials' speeches, which showed that the Jiangsu provincial government attaches great importance to sports. Grandma, that's grandfather. Huo Ruiman pointed at Huo Jekan, who was speaking, and said loudly. Haha, yes, your grandfather is working. Zhang Lifang smiled, it's a bit noisy outside, so let's not talk so loudly. Save your energy and cheer for your mother later. Yes, I want to cheer for mom, Huo said seriously, anxiously waiting for the game to start. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1017. 1015. After the tedious opening ceremony, the game began. It was not a weekend or a holiday at this time, so there were not many people watching the game. Most of them were students who had no classes and were organized to watch the game. Others are distributed to workers in public institutions or factories, asking them to come and watch the game. He Tiantian was placed in the first round of the preliminary round. Zhu's Hitao kept explaining some competition precautions in front of He Tiantian, and asked He Tiantian to participate in the 100-meter breaststroke preliminary round after swimming the freestyle preliminary round. Zhu's Hitao has already made arrangements, so He Tiantian can just follow Zhu Tao's arrangements, which saves He Tiantian a lot of effort. Wei Yuan is responsible for He Tianatian's safety, and Kui Ying is responsible for giving He Tiantian massages before and after the game to adjust her physical condition. Be thorough and be fully prepared. He Tiantian stood at one end of the track. She knew that her mother-in-law might bring her children, so when she was getting ready, she looked into the auditorium and saw her daughter, son, and mother-in-law cheering for her. And Grandma Wang, Huo Yingzhe. It turns out everyone is here. Didn't Huo Yingzhe, a big liar, say he was unavailable? He must have wanted to give her a surprise. I have to say, it was indeed a surprise, and she was very happy. He Tiantian stretched out her hands and waved to her family members in the audience. Grandma, Mom has seen us, Huo Ruimin said excitedly. Mom will definitely win the championship. Haha, just try your best, you don't have to be the champion. Zhang Lifang was worried that her children would be disappointed if He Tiantian didn't win the championship, so she gave them some peace of mind in advance. Mom will definitely win, Huo Ruwa said. In his heart, his mother is an omnipotent Superman. Mom is Superman, Huo Xiaosan said loudly. Mom is Superman. The younger brother's enthusiasm is contagious to his older brothers and sisters. The three little guys clapped and clapped at He Tiantian, holding small trumpets, and kept blowing and shouting. They were very excited. The people around were also led by a few little guys and paid attention to the middle of the field. As the starting gun sounded, He Tiantian jumped into the water. With her slender limbs, she paddled hard in the water, hoping to maximize her speed. At this time, He Tiantian was particularly enjoying her current state. She kept swimming forward without thinking about anything in her mind. He Tiantian won the first place in the 100-meter freestyle in the preliminary group stage with a time of 53.02 seconds. This is 2 seconds faster than the fastest time in the 1984 Olympics. This result not only satisfied Zhu's Hitao, but also attracted the attention of coaches from other provinces. Sci-fi was in another group and had very good results. She also ranked first in the group stage. The athletes who came from Yanjing had very good results and all passed the group stage. Coach Xia is very happy. This means more people will participate in the finals. In particular, He Tianatian's results are really eye-catching. Coach Wu had already come to see him and told him about He Tianatian's situation. Jiao Lihong also performed well and performed at a normal level. In order to avoid suspicion, head coach Wu did not come to find He Tiantian, but personally told Zhu's Hitao to do a good job for He Tiantian and ensure that He Tiantian performed his best. After the game, He Tiantian wanted to go out to see her family, but there were regulations that prohibited her from going out and had to have a good rest. Huo Yingzhe took a lot of photos, and He Tianatian's performance just now was really great. Seeing that the show was over, Huo Ruimin asked, "Dad, I want to go find Mom." Look for Mom, look for Mom." Huo Xiaosan had not seen her mother for several days and started to cheer. "Mom, you need to have a good rest. There is a game in the afternoon. Dad will take you to eat, Okay, Huo Yingji said with a smile, Dad will buy you whatever you want to eat. Huo Ruimin hesitated. Thinking that she would always see her after the competition, she didn't want to offend her. Well, let's go get something to eat. Huo Xiaosan was more persistent and said, I want delicious food, and I also want my mother. Then let's go eat. You can stay here alone. Huo Ruimin patted his brother's head. This kid needs to be taken care of. Brother, sister hit me. Huo Xiaosan ran behind Huo Ruwa and asked for his brother's protection. My mistress, be good. If you disobey, my brother will be beaten by Sister Hui. Huo Ruwa said, we can see Mom in the afternoon. Let's go for a walk and eat delicious food. I'll give you half of my brother's share. Not to my sister, okay. Okay, Huo Xiaosan smiled proudly at his sister Huo Ruimin. His brother really loved him. Huo Yingji took the children, mother, and Grandma Wang to eat delicious food together. I went back to rest at noon, and then brought the children over when He Tian competed. Zhang Lifang stayed with Grandma Wang at home and prepared dinner for the children. The weather was a bit hot, so Huo Yingji bought popsicles for everyone. The three children have been in good health since childhood, and eating popsicles is completely fine. If Grandma Wang is here, she will not be allowed to eat more. However, Huo Yingji focused on his wife and cared less about the children. Anyway, if he didn't have diarrhea, he would be fine. In the afternoon competition, He Tian ranked first in the group stage in other events. Zhu's Hitao was very excited. Coach Wu had been paying attention to He Tian's games. After a few games, he found that He Tian had improved again. There is a special quality in He Tian. Age is nothing. The competition is nothing. She completely enjoys the process of competition, so she is more calm. After the game, He Tian, wearing the big bath towel Kui Ying brought over, walked to where Huo Yingji was sitting and waved to her husband and son. The children were even more excited to see their mother. Huo Xiaosan actually ignored Huo Yingji's obstruction and sent him over to find his mother. When He Tian saw her son coming, she carried her son over the railing with her hands, kissed his little face and said, Xiaosan, do you miss your mother? I want it, I really want it, Huo Xiaosan said quickly, and kissed her mother on the face a few times. Mom, that's great. The mistress is great too. You must listen to your father and grandma at home and don't be naughty, He Tian explained, holding the child tightly and reluctant to let go. At this time, Huo Yingji came over with his son and daughter and said, you are great today. We have been cheering for you. Thank you, good son and daughter. He Tian touched her son and daughter's heads. Okay, help dad and take my brother with me. Yes, I will. Huo Ruimin nodded, not mentioning that she often bullied Huo Xiaosan. As for Huo Xiaosan, he is also a forgetful person. He has long forgotten that his sister bullied him. Huo Yingji held He Tian's hand. In front of so many people, he could only hold back the act of holding He Tian into his arms and kissing her. He would wait until He Tian took a break after the competition. Thank you everyone for your subscriptions and rewards. Your support is the motivation for Kikai to persevere. Okay. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1018. 1016. He Tian separated from her husband and children and returned to the resting place in the back. Kui Ying smiled and said, how do you feel when you see your husband and children? He Tian thought for a while and had a different feeling, and said, before, we met at home every day, so everyone's feelings were hidden by daily life. Now because of my temporary departure, their feelings are released again. I feel their love for me, which makes me very touched and happy. Haha, It's very emotional, Kui Ying said with a smile, thinking of her child, who is currently in the mountains and may not be able to see her once a year. By the way, Kui Ying, where is your baby? He Tian was very surprised. How could anyone be willing to let their children be taken away by their elders? This Kui Ying, it's not that Huashan doesn't have money or time, why don't you bring it yourself? Kui Ying smiled bitterly and said, Tian, my family is a bit special. After the age of 3, you have to go somewhere to lay the foundation. Although I am reluctant to let him go, I can't keep him. This is not good for him, so I can only endure it. He Tian saw that Kui Ying didn't explain carefully, so she was embarrassed to ask, then after I finish the competition, we have a vacation, you can go see the children, call us to Huashan, and go see the children together. Although the elders love their children, but after all, they are not as good as my parents. My parents-in-law wanted to leave one of my 3 children with them in Nanji, but I refused. Yes, Kui Ying nodded, okay, I will. She did miss her son. He Nation's competition is very smooth. As long as there is a competition, she will see her husband and children watching her competition. He Tian always walked from their side, holding hands with her son and daughter, and kissing her children. Tian, I will leave tomorrow and the children will stay in Nanji. Huo Yingji said, I will wait for you in Yanjing. Okay, He Tian said softly, have a safe trip. Huo Yingji's job did not allow him to leave for a long time, so he had to go back. In full view of everyone, Huo Yingji finally couldn't help it anymore and came up to kiss He Tian. Beside, many people were whistling. He Tian blushed and followed the other team members away, not daring to stay any longer. In the subsequent games, Zhang Lifang and her bodyguards accompanied her children to watch the games and cheer for He Tian. He Tian lived up to expectations and achieved good results. As the rankings for each award came out, Jiao Li's face turned green. As long as He Tian and she participate in the same event, she will be the second place and He Tian will be the first place. Although Sci-fi was a little disappointed and could only place second in freestyle, which she is best at, due to He Nation's encouragement and healthy competition, she swam faster than usual, which was considered progress. Anyway, Coach Xia said that with her current condition, she can join the national team, so Sci-fi is not sad. Competition, He Tian participated in 6 competitions and won 5 championships and 1 runner-up. This report card simply blinded Coach Wu's eyes. Looking at the specific time, Coach Wu wished that this was the Olympics or the World Championships. What a shameless result. The national team must be in the national team. The game was over, and He Tian could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Sci-fi returned the martial arts novel to He Tian and said, thank you, Sister He, you are indeed very powerful, I admire you. With your stimulation, my grades have also improved. I hope we can continue to compete if we have the opportunity. Okay, He Tian nodded, there will be a chance. He Tian packed her luggage and went to find Zhu's Hitao and Coach Xia. The 2 people were drinking tea. When they saw He Tian coming over, they asked, Teacher He, is there something wrong? Yes, my child happens to be in Nanji, so I want to stay in Nanji and not go to Yanjing with you. He Tian smiled and said, staying in Nanji for a few days before leaving with the child. Well, we're going to have a celebration party when we get back, Coach Xia said with a smile. It was a pity that the athlete with the best performance didn't appear. He Tian smiled and said, then let Assistant Zhu represent me. I won't go. If it were anyone else, Coach Xia could continue to ask, but facing He Tian, he didn't dare. Coach Xia, I will respect you several times more for Teacher He when the time comes. Thank you very much, Coach Xia, for teaching Teacher He. Zhu's Hitao smiled and helped to settle the matter. Zhu's Hitao's words also gave Coach Xia face. Coach Xia only needs credit. As for He Tian not wanting to come to the celebration banquet, she just said that He Tian had something to do at home. That's a pity, but teacher, he has been working hard recently. Since his family is here, let's reunite with them and have a good rest, Coach Xia said, giving Zhu's Hitao and He Tian some face. Thank you very much, Coach Xia. He Tian smiled, then said goodbye to everyone, and left with Kui Ying and Wei Yuan. Not seeing the child for nearly 10 days made He Tian miss him very much. Although the children can see their mother on the court every day, they cannot talk too much or get along with their mother, which makes several children particularly like their mother now. Tian, let's cheers to celebrate your good grades. Zhang Lifang specially celebrated for He Tian, Huo Jekan drank white wine, she, Grandma Wang, and He Tian drank fruit wine, and the children drank fruit juice. Thank you. He Tian picked up the cup and said, thank you everyone. The children must be very naughty at home during this period. You and Grandma Wang have taken the trouble. The children have grown up and become sensible, Zhang Lifang said with a smile. Ruwa plays chess with your father every day, I am very happy. Grandma, I watched TV with you. Huo Ruiman expressed her merit and felt that she also had merit. I went to bed obediently. Huo Xiaosan was not willing to be outdone, brushing up his sense of presence and saying that he was also great. Okay, they are all very good, He Tian praised, they are all good babies. He Tian was a little tired. After eating, she talked with her children and then went back to rest. When I woke up the next morning, it was already 9 o'clock in the morning. Huang Jingli and Wu Yaliang are talking to Grandma Wang. Oh, Sister Jingli, Wu Yaliang, you guys are here. He Tian was a little embarrassed. I'm really sorry, I got angry a little late. You have worked hard during this period and should take a good rest, Huang Jingli said, you are really amazing. You have crossed a lot of industries. Haha, they are all hobbies and interests. He Tian smiled and said, thank you for coming. By the way, how is your factory? Okay, very good, Huang Jingli said excitedly, our products are already selling well in China, and we are constantly improving. We will definitely be able to pay you a lot of dividends by the end of this year. Okay, I'll be waiting, He Tian said with a smile. Her accountant and audit team are always following up, so He Tian also knows the situation of some factories, and it is said that she can get a lot of money. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 1019. 1017. We have received everyone's support from the very beginning when we opened the factory, and now it's time to return the favor to our shareholders. I won't keep you waiting in vain, Wu Yaliang said with a smile. I have applied for a patent, especially our electric water heater, which is very popular. It is difficult to do business with foreign countries now, so we can only pass the technology through Jianzhijiao's patent. When a company licenses it, it gets a large licensing fee, which is also considered an income. That's great, He Tian smiled. Anyway, if you keep it in your hands, after this period of time, others will be able to make it, and you can also earn patent fees by licensing it out. Yes, we think so too, Wu Yaliang said. Continuously changing technology and improving technological content, our products will get better and better. Well, that's it, He Tian smiled. By the way, Wu Yaliang, you have been in charge of research and development, are you in charge of management, Sister Jingli? Yes, the business of supplying Sanfan Kiao has been handed over to my cousin. My father-in-law and mother-in-law are completely retired now. They are raising flowers and raising children at home. I am responsible for management and finance, and I rely on Yaliang for research and development. Huang Jingli said that the division of labor and collaboration between the two is why the factory has developed so rapidly and has become a leading enterprise in the private sector. During the Chinese New Year last year, it even received a government award. That's great, He Tian nodded. By the way, I left Nanxi for several years, so Lin Xiru didn't have any trouble with you, right? Huang Jingli was stunned, and when she saw He Tiantian asking, she sneered, "That woman is now wandering among several men, and she doesn't do anything serious anyway. She also knows that I am not the Huang Jingli I used to be, and she doesn't dare to provoke me anymore. Haha, I originally had a good hand, but it ended up like that." He Tiantian sighed. In fact, Lin Xiru had good qualifications and good looks, but she didn't take the right path and always thought about opportunism, which led to this. However, how can a fish know the joy of a fish if it is not a fish? He Tiantian felt that she might have thought wrong. Lin Xiru enjoyed such a life. "Be careful, don't get caught," He Tiantian said, not wanting Huang Jingli to take it lightly and end up getting caught by Lin Xiru again. "Well, I know," Huang Jingli sneered, "but she is not in Nanjing. She has been working in the county below these years. I have been paying attention to her, otherwise I wouldn't know so clearly. Okay, this person is unlucky, let's not talk about her. Okay, let's not talk about her. We haven't seen each other for such a long time, so we need to have a good chat." He Tiantian smiled and said, "Come on, Wu Yaoliang, you take the children to play, and I will have some private conversations with Jingli. Okay, you are good sisters. We haven't seen each other for such a long time, so you must have a lot to say." Wu Yaoliang smiled and expressed his understanding. It was not easy for him to listen to the conversations between women. At this time, Kui Ying came in from the outside and was very happy to see Wu Yaoliang and Huang Jingli, so after saying hello, she went upstairs to talk and drink tea. The three women performed a drama, each talking about interesting things. My mouth was dry and I drank 2 pots of tea. At noon, after eating, the three of them went out for a walk. As for Wu Yaoliang, he returned to the factory after lunch. At the same time, the three of them made an appointment to celebrate the festival together tomorrow and play together the day after tomorrow. Adults and children alike are immersed in the holiday season. 2 weeks later, the child's vacation was coming to an end, and He Tiantian had to leave with the child. Not only did the children have to go to school, but He Tiantian also missed Huo Yingzhe. Although Zhang Lifang and Huo Jekan were reluctant to let go, they couldn't let the child stay, so they had to reluctantly send the child away. What Zhang Lifang wants most now is to return to Yanjing so that her family can be reunited. Huo Yingzhe gave He Tiantian a surprise before and secretly came over to watch the game. This time when he went back, He Tiantian also planned to surprise Huo Yingzhe. When he returned home, he didn't tell Huo Yingzhe. But Kui Ying reported He Tianatian's situation to Huo Yingzhe every day. How could she forget to report the date of her return? So He Tiantian happily rushed off the train and was greeted directly by Huo Yingzhe. He Tiantian was stunned and said, "I obviously didn't tell you in advance." "Husband, I can figure it out," Huo Yingzhe whispered in He Tianatian's ear. Seeing that He Tianatian's hair was a little messy, he stretched out his hand to help straighten the hair on the temples. "Haha, I don't believe you," He Tiantian smiled, seeing Kui Ying snickering next to her, and the children peeking at her, not wanting to ask Huo Yingzhe the truth outside. Huo Yingzhe smiled, finally no longer sleeping alone. There were 2 cars parked outside, just big enough to sit in. Kui Ying went home directly and reunited with Huashan. It is estimated that the couple will visit their children together. When they arrived at home, He Tiantian smiled and said, Yuan, you have half a month's vacation, so take a good rest. I have been at home during this time, and someone is protecting me." Wei Yuan nodded and said, "Yes." Wei Yuan packed up her things and went home. The children were a little tired from the journey. After taking a bath and eating, they crawled into bed to catch up on their sleep. He Tiantian was sleeping sideways in the big bed. She was tired from taking care of the children on the way. Seeing He Tianatian's tired face, Huo Yingzhe didn't want to tire He Tiantian, so he just lit a soothing incense in the room to help her sleep more peacefully. Huo Yingzhe went to the study to read and did not disturb He Tiantian in the room. It wasn't until 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon that they got up one after another. In the afternoon, the children review their lessons at home. He Tiantian and Huo Yingzhe went shopping together hand in hand. As the sun set, the two of them walked on the nearby boulevard, leaving 2 long shadows behind. Neither of them spoke, enjoying the silence. When he came back, He Tiantian turned her head and asked in a low voice, "I'm not here, did you miss me?" "I think about it, especially about it," Huo Yingzhe murmured softly. "I used to see each other every day, but I don't think I miss it too much because I can see you at night. Since I went to Nanxi, I will miss you very much at night when I return to Yanjing. When I'm working during the day, I'll also think, hey, you and the kids are not at home, I wish I could work overtime every day so I wouldn't feel lonely." He Tiantian was very satisfied with Huo Yingzhe's answer and said, "Yes, I miss you too. Sometimes in tense moments like the game, I will also think of you. No wonder people say that a small break is better than a newlywed, and distance is created beautiful, absolutely true." Huo Yingzhe nodded repeatedly, "I want to tonight." "Okay, don't say it outside." He Tiantian pushed Huo Yingzhe's handsome face away, "I knew you would think wrong." "It's not wrong, I just miss you," Huo Yingzhe said dissatisfiedly. "You can't ignore me like this." Upon hearing this, He Tianatian's head was full of dark thoughts and she said, "Brother Yingzhe, you are so good at acting, and you are very involved in it. I'm still revising at 3:40 in the morning, so sleepy, ZZ. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1020. 1018. After going back at night, Huo Yingzhe desperately hoped that the child would fall asleep quickly. He could only hold his wife to sleep without 3 light bulbs nearby. After finally sending the 3 children away, Huo Yingzhe closed the door and locked it. There was silence for only 2 people in the room. He Tiantian is applying skincare products on her face. These are products launched by her grandmother's cosmetics company in France. Most of them are formulas provided by Huo Yingzhe before. The effect is really good, and the price is really expensive. The next morning, He Tiantian quickly changed her clothes. She had to send her children to school today. He Tiantian sent the child to school in person and asked the teacher to cancel the leave. "Thank you, Teacher Zhang, for teaching the children." He Tiantian thanked him. This teacher was very talkative and gentle to the children. From the children, he learned that the students in the class liked Teacher Zhang very much. Teacher Zhang smiled and said, "You're welcome, this is what I should do. Your child has good grades and is sensible, so I gave you the vacation. I saw it on TV. Congratulations on winning so many championships." He Tiantian was a little embarrassed, her face was slightly red, and she said, "Thank you. The child will need your attention in the future." "I will, class is about to begin, I will take the children to the classroom first." Teacher Zhang looked at the time and said with a smile, "It's time for me to go back, see you, Teacher Zhang." He Tiantian said, "You two listen to the teacher in school, study hard, and make progress every day." "Well, we will work hard, Mom," the 2 children promised. Seeing that both children had entered the classroom, He Tiantian left, and then sent Huo Xiaosan to the Yahong class. After sending the child off, He Tiantian went to her office over Sanfan Bridge. There is a room on the 3rd floor, more than 100 square meters, divided into 4 or 5 small rooms, all separated by transparent glass. Inside, there is He Tianatian's office, an accounting office, an audit office, and a place for leisure and entertainment where you can drink tea and eat something after work. At the very back are the men's and women's bathrooms. He Tiantian has many properties under his name, shares in many companies and shops, monthly accounts, and the cost of many materials, etc. These people have to review and check whether there are any problems with the accounts. It is precisely because of this office that He Tian Tian can be so free. She only needs to come over and look at the general ledger to see how much profit there is, how much it has increased, how much it has decreased, why it has increased and why it has decreased. They were very happy to see He Tian Tian coming over. After reporting their work, they started chatting and congratulated He Tian Tian on his good results. Soon, the morning was over. He Tian Tian went home and picked up the child when passing by the school. It's the weekend. Huo Yingjia and He Tian Tian took the children to their old house, and then went to party with friends and go shopping, which was quite enjoyable. On this day, Zhu's Hitao and Yuan Hua came to Maohutong and sent wedding invitations. He Tian Tian was stunned, looked at the red wedding invitation on the table, and said in surprise, "Congratulations, I'll check the date, I'll definitely be there by then." "Teacher He, you are my favor and my good friend, so of course you have to come. Not only do you want to come, but you also bring me wedding gifts and gifts." Yuan Hua, sharp-tongued, teased He Tian Tian. "Yuan Hua, don't say that. Teacher He is very happy to be able to come to our wedding. What kind of gift or money?" "How embarrassing," Zhu's Hitao said, although he was joking, he still couldn't accept it. Zhu's Hitao's character is fine, so He Tian Tian is not worried. Furthermore, Yuan Hua is a woman who treats her feelings very carefully and does not act impulsively. Moreover, Yuan Hua is not too young, so she may feel that she should start a family. If it were someone else, maybe he wouldn't be able to say it, but to Teacher He, it would be fine if he said this. Yuan Hua smiled and didn't care. "It's okay, our relationship has reached the point where there are no taboos in joking." He Tian Tian smiled, and then saw the date. "Oh my god, it's so fast. Just next month, you won't give birth to your son getting married." I finally finished uploading chapter 75 at 4:05 and I could finally go to bed. For the sake of Kixinko working so hard, I subscribed to the official version. Oh, mathematical intersection symbol. Mathematical intersection symbol, thank you. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 1021. 1019. It was indeed very hasty. He Tian Tian had never heard Yuan Hua say anything about Zhu's Hitao before, so she knew there was an ambiguity between them. It gave the impression that it was far from getting married. Therefore, He Tian Tian only thought of this possibility. Ahem, Zhu's Hitao was drinking tea. When he heard this, he choked and coughed repeatedly, and his face turned red. Yuan Hua patted Zhu's Hitao on the back and said with a blushing face, "Teacher He, what are you talking about? We are still in pure revolutionary love." "Haha, it's fine." Zhu's Hitao was speechless. He wanted to marry his son, but Yuan Hua said he wouldn't get married and wouldn't touch her. At most, he only held hands. Even the kiss took several sneak attacks from him to succeed. "Haha," He Tian Tian smiled, "I don't mean anything else, I just feel that time is running out." "Are you ready? Are you in time?" Zhu's Hitao's face was a little red and he said, "It just so happens that during this period, I have less work and I have holidays. I want to take Yuan Hua out for fun after I get married." Since Yuan Hua also agreed, Zhu's Hitao's character was fine, and He Tian Tian couldn't say more. "Well, not bad." He Tian Tian nodded. "Where are you going to play?" "Just take a walk nearby." He. "It's too far and a bit inconvenient," Yuan Hua said. "There's not a very good place either." He Tian Tian thought for a while and said, "If you don't have time, it's good to wander around by day." He. "If you have time, you can go to Kijia village in Daowen County. The scenery there is very beautiful. You will never forget it if you go there." After 2 years of development, Kijia village has reached some scale. With Chi Jinmin's design, it has become a tourist destination with beautiful environment, complete supporting facilities and many obvious local characteristics. Daowen County, Yuan Hua was stunned. Teacher he, is this the place where you were sent to before? Yes, he Tian replied, tourism is being developed there, with good scenery, hot springs, and some local specialty products. Teacher he said it so well, I'm going to take a look, Yuan Hua said with a smile. Teacher he is her idol, and she blindly worships her idol. He Tian smiled and said, when the children go on summer vacation, I will also take them there to play. Okay, let's go together when the time comes, Yuan Hua smiled. Zhu's Hitao might not have time at that time, but she did. As a staff member of the Poetry Association, you cannot write beautiful poetry if you are locked in the office every day. You also need to collect poetry, so Yuan Hua spends a long time every year collecting poetry. Kaifeng is actually a paid trip. Zhu's Hitao liked his free and easy wife very much. He also knows that he is usually busy with work and cannot always accompany his wife, but he will work hard to give her the best life. When Yuan Hua gets married, the gifts he Tian gives cannot be random. Zhang Wenwen will probably give Yuan Hua a wedding dress, Wang Ying will probably give Yuan Hua cosmetics, and Qi Xiaoyan will probably give Yuan Hua tickets to various concerts. He Tian thought about it and decided to give Yuan Hua a piece of exquisite crystal jewelry that he could wear on a daily basis. At home, her mother sent her exquisite Swarovski crystal jewelry that was launched this spring, including a necklace, brooch, bracelet, and earrings. The whole set is light blue and the chain is made of silver. This set of accessories can be worn as a complete set or as a single piece, both are very good. He Tian is usually at home, and now that she is an athlete, she does not need these things, so these accessories have just been taken apart, but they are not worn. They are all brand new. Therefore, it is also very suitable to give it as a gift. As expected, Zhang Wenwen gave away clothes, Wang Ying gave away cosmetics, and Qi Xiaoyan gave away tickets for concerts in the next 2 months. Tickets for these concerts are all performed by top domestic and foreign music groups. Sometimes, you can't even buy it with money. Qi Xiaoyan knew Yuan Hua liked it and bought it with help through connections. Yuan Hua got married in a hotel. Zhang Wenwen is unmarried and serves as Yuan Hua's bridesmaid. He Tian, Qi Xiaoyan, Wang Ying, and Zhang Wenwen, as natal family members, gave Zhu's Hitao a hard time. Zhu's Hitao is not a mere commander. When he came, he not only brought some younger assistants from the coaching team, but also some very good-looking and handsome athletes to welcome him. Zhu's Hitao's groomsmen sang, danced, said good things, and gave red envelopes, and finally got the bride Yuan Hua. Then go to the hotel together for the wedding ceremony. Yuan Hua's mother died young, and he and his father depended on each other. Some relatives came to the family, but they did not dare to come forward to speak. In the end, He Tian, a teacher and good friend, spoke to Yuan's father as an elder of her natal family. Zhu's Hitao is a native of Yanjing. His parents are both university professors. One sister has studied abroad and one brother is still in college. Overall, he came from a scholarly family. The wedding's master of ceremonies was Niu Daijin, who helped preside over the wedding. When thanking both parents, because Yuan Hua's mother died young, Yuan Hua invited He Tian, who grew up as a woman, and Yuan Hua's father and Zhu's Hitao's parents to come to the stage to speak. Niu Daijin said happily, now the groom's parents will speak and bless the two newlyweds. Zhu's Hitao's father took the microphone from Niu Daijin and said with a smile, I am very grateful to all my relatives and friends for attending Hitao and Yuan Hua's wedding today. I hope they can grow old together and make all their dreams come true. Zhu's Hitao's mother looked a little cold, but she also said, I hope they will have a son soon, and we will also have grandchildren. Niu Daijin, He Tian, they all felt that Zhu's Hitao's mother seemed a little reluctant. It's now. Why is she dissatisfied? Where have you gone earlier? Thank you to the man's parents for their blessings to the two newlyweds. Now let's ask the woman's elders to speak. Neo Daejin quickly took over the conversation, not letting Zeus Hitayo's mother say anything else. It was originally a nice thing to say, but there was something wrong with her expression. This is a happy event. Yuanhua's father's eyes were a little moist. He took out a piece of paper from his pocket and said tremblingly, Xiahua, you got married today and found a good family. You will live a good life in the future. I am in good health. Don't worry about me. He Tian took out the handkerchief and handed it to the old man, saying, it's a big day for us. Let's be happy. Well, I'm happy. Father Yuan burst into tears and smiled, showing that he sincerely wanted his daughter to be happy. Mother Zhu over there checked her face and rolled her eyes while Dad Yuan was talking. This expression happened to be seen by Qi Xiaoyan and others below. Mother Zhu felt Qi Xiaoyan and Wang Ying's scrutiny. She quickly smiled, nodded to Qi Xiaoyan, Wang Ying and others, and then quickly looked away. Wang Ying and Qi Xiaoyan looked at each other and cursed in their hearts, Yuanhua's mother-in-law is not a fuel-efficient lamp. It can be seen from their expressions just now that she does not respect her in-laws and Yuanhua. This girl Yuanhua is usually a very smart person, how could she meet such a mother-in-law? The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 1022. 1020. After Yuan's father wiped away his tears, he Tian took the phone and said, hello everyone. Yuan's father was too happy just now, so he lost control of his mood. But I believe that the married woman sitting here can understand Yuan's father. Dad's mood. Because I am Yuanhua's university teacher, I am honored to be the bride's mother-in-law and want to speak here. I hope that Yuanhua and Zeus Hitayo will be harmonious and everything goes well. I also want to say to Yuanhua today. Standing here, I will be your mother-in-law from now on. Anyone who bullies you is bullying me. If you are wronged or in trouble, tell me that as an elder, you must stand up for the younger generation. He Tian changed her words temporarily because she saw Zeus Hitayo's mother's expression. Yuanhua, Yuan's father was very moved when he heard this. Qi Xiaoyan, Wang Ying, and Zhang Wenwen clapped quickly and shouted, okay, okay. Previously, the man felt that Zhu's mother was a little unhappy, and was secretly surprised. He looked down upon her for not having a mother, but she had a backer. When Zhu's father heard this, he was secretly angry. Why couldn't his old wife be happy on her big day? Now that you agree, why are you showing off? My daughter-in-law is so capable, so what if her family background is not good? The Zhu family is also an ordinary family. Why are they aloof? Zhu's father touched Zhu's mother's arm, and Zhu's mother didn't dare to do it anymore. Neo Daejin took the microphone and said to Zeus Hitayo with a smile, bridegroom, have you heard the explanation from our mother's family? Zeus Hitayo was happy today. Although he was tired, he was very excited. He nodded repeatedly and said, I heard that I will love Yuanhua well, protect Yuanhua, and be filial to my father-in-law. You can rest assured to leave your daughter to me. Zeus Hitayo also felt that something was wrong with his mother just now, so he assured her loudly in front of her family and all her relatives and friends. With Zeus Hitayo's guarantee, the wedding continued smoothly. After the ceremony, the banquet began. During the dinner, Coach Wu personally came over to toast He Tian. There were many coaches here and the athletes were very surprised. However, everyone felt relieved when they thought about He Tian's good results. What a genius, he deserves to be treated like this by Coach Wu. Coach Wu took the opportunity to introduce other people to He Tian. Because he would not look up or look down in the future, He Tian drank a few glasses of wine with Coach Wu and everyone else. However, Huo Yingzhe has always been by his side, making his presence felt, so that those who think He Tian Tian is good looking and those who want to pursue He Tian Tian will give up. Although Huo Yingji's style is a bit unpopular, it is really useful. After going around, everyone knows that teacher He is beautiful, but her husband is more handsome and powerful. After that, Yuan Hua was sent to the wedding room decorated by the Zhu family. After a while, everyone dispersed. Niu Dajin, Qi Xiaoyan, and He Tian Tian personally sent Dad Yuan home. Niu Dajin's father was worried that Yuan's father would be alone at home, so he came over to talk to his old friend. Afterwards, Qi Xiaoyan, Wang Ying, and Zhang Wenwen came to He Tianation's home together. Sister Tian Tian, Yuan Hua's mother-in-law, she looks like a troublemaker at first sight, Qi Xiaoyan said. Do you think Sister Yuan Hua knows? He Tian Tian thought for a while and said, I think I should know. Then why does Yuan Hua still want to live in that kind of family? Wang Ying said angrily. Today is Yuan Hua's wedding. I'm embarrassed to ask. Let's go and have a look when we come back in the next 3 days. Okay, let's all ask together when the time comes. He Tian nodded. She would not be happy if she didn't understand the matter. Several people agreed that when Yuan Hua comes back on the 3rd day, they will come to ask in person. That day, a few good friends put aside everything and came together. Yuan Hua and Zhu's Hitao prepared a generous homecoming gift and were very happy to see several friends there. Dad Yuan was cooking in the kitchen, and Zhu's Hitao went to help. He Tian Tian and others dragged Yuan Hua into the house and asked her what was going on. Yuan Hua, is your mother-in-law easy to get along with? Qi Xiaoyan asked directly, rather anxiously. Haha, my mother-in-law is a bit aloof, Yuan Hua said with a smile. Actually, she is not a bad person, mainly because I want to come back to live after getting married and don't want to be crowded with them. As you can see, there are only 3 people in Zhu's Hitao's house. The old couple lived in one room, and Zhu's Hitao and his brother-in-law lived in the same room before. It was not until the eldest sister went to study abroad that Zhu's Hitao moved to the eldest sister's room. But the eldest sister was not married yet and would come back sooner or later. How could she squeeze in? When they asked me how my room would be like in the future, I told them that it would be inappropriate to occupy my sister-in-law's room. Oh, that's it. He Tian Tian breathed a sigh of relief. However, it is a bit inconvenient to have so many people crowded together. Besides, you can't rest assured that Dad Yuan lives at home alone. Yes, and my yard is big and there are many rooms, Yuan Hua said. Move here, it will be so spacious. Qi Xiaoyan, Wang Ying, and Zhang Wenwen were all relieved. Then what did Zhu's Hitao say? Wang Ying asked. This kind of thing mainly depends on the man. Yuan Hua smiled and said, Zhu's Hitao has already agreed and said he would come back to live with me. He also feels that the house is quite crowded and he can't let go of anything. Haha, Qi Xiaoyan blinked. Haha, what are you doing that you can't let go of? Married women such as He Tian Tian and Wang Ying all laughed and laughed as if they were watching a good show. Although Zhang Wenwen is unmarried, her dirty jokes are sweeter than those of married he, and Qi Xiaoyan's jokes are even smoother. You guys are really bad as a bride. Yuan Hua couldn't stand the teasing from her friends. She blushed and reached out to slap some of her bad friends. Several people were having fun. Okay, stop making trouble, Yuan Hua, when will you and Zhu's Hitao move here? He Tian Tian asked. If you come here, we can chat together at night. I'll move here when I get back from the trip, Yuan Hua said. I've already told my father that he wants me to come home and live there. Well, as for your mother-in-law, you usually buy some things and coax her. On weekends, you go back with Zhu's Hitao to see the old couple, He Tian Tian suggested. After all, we are a family. If the trouble is serious, Zhu's Hitao will be in the middle. It's uncomfortable, and it also affects your family atmosphere. Yes, I think so too, Yuan Hua said. Teacher He, thank you on the wedding day, thank you also to Sister Xiaoyan, Sister Wang Ying, and thank you Zhang Wenwen. I am so lucky to have friends like you. Haha, we are good sisters and we will support each other in the future, he Tian said. This is not only for Yuanhua, but also for you. If there are difficulties, we should solve them together. Don't get into trouble alone. Yeah, we all remember it, Chi Xiao Yan said. Over the years, He Tian was her mother-in-law, and she was also He Tianatian's mother-in-law. They supported and helped each other in Yanjing, so they didn't feel lonely. Please subscribe to the original version and give me rewards.